Okay, hear me out. I got this globe off of Facebook Marketplace for free, and I've been dying to do something with it ever since. Now, I've come up with a few ideas, but I think I like this one the best. For our plan to work, the first thing we're going to need to do is make a big old hole in our globe. Now, this has got some damage, so I'm going to make sure that we do the main hole for our diorama on that spot just there, and then the rest should be smooth sailing.
It was at this moment that she knew. She fucked up.
Hot glue is pretty hot. Now the basic base is done, we need to get the details on. As you can see, this is tilting the right way. So how I've done that is by putting a rock in there and some air dry clay, just to weight it down on this side a little bit, because I want it to be kind of sideways on. I don't want it to just be to the front. So that works quite nicely. We've put a base of foam around the edge to make it look like the earth is thicker. And then inside, I've just stuffed it out with a bit of aluminium foil to give us the base for the rocks. I decided to use fairy lights just to make it easy and quick, because what I want to do is, as you can see in the design, we've got some crystal clusters that are going to be dotted all around in here. So I've just threaded these through because these are going to be in the crystal stacks, but I do want some light coming down here, and I don't know whether this is going to be enough. So what I think I might do as well is just add another bit of wire so that we can wire up just a couple of SMDs in the top, and we can probably take the power from this block anyway. So now let's start with supplies. We've got some sand, we've got some filler, and we've got our rocks. Let's get our first coat of plaster wrap on. Oh, you can see it through the gloves. That's how big it is. Gross. That's so disgusting. While we let it dry, we'll make the details for the insides. Okay guys, we're back. This is almost dry, not quite, so I do want to put it out in the sun. But before we do that, I want to get our main crystals in place. Now, I made these off camera during the week leading up to this, so that I had plenty and they were dry. I've drilled holes in the bottom because I want our crystal clusters to be bunched together, and then I want to put the lights inside each one so that we've got a couple of crystal clusters that are filled with light. So I want to get those in first, because then after we've done that, we can really see what rocks and things we're going to need in there. We need to make our waterfall, and I also want to make some like crystally parts to go on this outside bit amongst rocks. Sorry about my voice, I've lost that this morning. I've just started talking to myself a bit and it's starting to come back a little bit, but that's what we need to do next. So let's crack on and get this outside to finish drying. I've given these a sand now and they're looking much, much better. So let's get them onto our lights. I'm back and I am ready and super excited for what we're doing today. So our resin waterfall is dry, but it's all stuck to this greaseproof paper. But the colour looks all right. It's made the bubbles look a bit better. They're not ideal. I think once it's in situ with all the little lights around it and stuff, it's going to look really cool. So that's ready. Our little crystal clusters are ready. And I just used these cool little crystal-y things and sprinkled a bit on top of the resin just to give it that extra pa-ching. So the plan of action is we need to paint this bad boy and get all the textures and the details. We've got rocks, we've got grass, flowers, some hanging down vines and things like that. So I'm super excited to get started on that. But first, we need to paint all these pieces, get our waterfall in place, get our clusters stuck on so that we can get our rocks stuck around, and then we can get all the details on the rest of our resin river. And while that's drying, we'll make our octopus. I'm going to start with a base coat of darker grey, and then we'll gradually add some lighter colours. Okay, now we've got some of the painting done, we're gonna make our octopus. Well, that's one done. Now let's make the rest. Now these are done, while we're waiting for them to dry, we get to do the bit that I've been waiting for. So I've got a bunch of greenery, plants, flowers, little tiny ones, big ones, and I want to get all of that detail in there, some moss on the rocks, paint the outside, put our octopus legs in. They shouldn't take too long to dry, and then we'll be ready for our final close-up. It's going to make it look so good. Let's go! we're done. I hope you liked the video, guys. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I love it, and my favourite part is definitely this tentacle here coming out of that little river. Looks absolutely wicked. If you do anything like this, I would love to see it. So with that being said, let's get to the close-ups, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully with a voice.